Hey guys, I'm Greg, and today I'm interested in pizza, which is a little bit silly because pizza is one of my favorite foods, so I'm always interested in pizza. But today, what I'm doing is I'm going to take a slice from 3 different places and I'm going to compare them. I'm pretty excited, which I'm sure you could gather. But I'm interested in seeing what each one is going to be like. I have one from a fast food joint kind of place. I have one that's a brick oven pizza, and I have one that is from like the local hole in the wall kind of pizza place. So I'll be interested in seeing at the end of the day what I like best from these 3 different types of pizza. So come along, won't you? Okay, folks, so what I have here are a slice of pizza from 3 different establishments. I have one from Domino's, I have one from a local pizza place, and I have a slice from Bertucci's. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a bite of each, maybe take some of the toppings and of the crust. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about each one so you can make decisions for yourself. Obviously, I love pizza, and each one is going to bring something different to the table. So I just wanted to, as much for myself as for you, just kind of outline what each one really does bring to the table. So I guess we'll start with Bertucci's because I'm left-handed and it's right over here. So convenient, I know. Okay, so not sure if you can get too much of a look at that. Underneath, we do have a little bit of that brick oven charring, which I'm sure is going to give an interesting taste. So I should also note that for each, I went with pepperoni, black olive, and mushroom, which is pretty much my flavor toppings or my topping choices and that I go to. So you can hear the kitties over there playing around. Okay, again, what we have here is Bertucci's. The crust, this particular slice didn't have as much of the brick oven kind of crispiness as you might like. The the crust tastes very much like a bread. If you've ever had Bertucci's, the crust tastes exactly like the rolls that they have because, well, I'm quite sure that they're made of the same dough. The toppings are, I wasn't a huge fan of the cheese on this particular slice. I felt that it felt kind of plasticky in my mouth. It's impossible that is because it's been sitting for a little bit while I prepared. The other toppings were fine, pretty standard. You've got, again, some mushrooms, some black olives, and some pepperoni. They seem to be in a good mixture on the slice. Yeah, so that's Bertucci's. I'm not a big fan of this particular one. I've liked Bertucci's much more in the past. This particular one doesn't seem to be the best pizza that they've ever produced. So that's a little bit disappointing, particularly for our purposes, but the show must go on. So first I'll take a sip of water. Next we have the kind of what I would call the local hole-in-the-wall pizza. Get a little bit of a view on that. Okay. Okay, what's interesting about this, I would have expected that the toppings would be far superior on the Bertucci's slice to the local hole in the wall, but in fact, I think that I'm enjoying the flavor a little bit better here. This tastes more oily, which normally I don't really enjoy, but it does have more life to it. As Guy Fieri likes to say, fat is flavor. So the oil in this particular slice is really allowing the cheese and the sauce and the seasoning to jump out at me. One of the things that I also find very interesting is the difference in the crust. When you're talking about the local hole-in-the-wall place, you're frequently talking about, I believe we would call it a pan pizza, not what you would expect from Uno's, which is a deep dish pan, but I believe what they do is they take a pizza plate with a rim, and they might put a little oil in it so that it really causes the bread to crisp up. And frequently, you also get what I would consider to be a nice rounded crust, but not flat. With Bertucci's, it's more flat because they don't confine it when they cook it. So it kind of, as it's cooking, it kind of settles a little bit. So I think that is something to consider when choosing between a Bertucci's or your local place. I think that this one was superior to the Bertucci's because of the seasoning that, again, allowed the taste to really jump out to you. And I feel like I'm bashing the Bertucci's over here. This is still good. Again, it's not really what I would consider the best Bertucci's that I've ever had. So maybe this is just an off slice. But if we are comparing and we were going to choose a winner thus far, the local place is definitely superior at this time. So I'll take another sip of water. Clear the palate a little bit. And here we have Domino's. So right off the bat, a couple things jump out. First, this is a large slice. The other two were small slices. I ended up getting a coupon which said get a large. So I ended up going for the large for Domino's. Otherwise, I would have preferred to get the small so I could really do more of a comparison. But what's jumping out about the Domino's as opposed to the local place or Bertucci's is the toppings. They are plentiful. It looks like they're quite large. I have, on top of a lot of pepperoni here, I do have a rather sizable mushroom. I have some black olives. It looks as though a lot of the toppings are more concentrated toward the middle, which I imagine is part of the process of making it. But that's just the way it goes, I guess. So I'll try this now. Okay, I think that in order to talk about Domino's versus the others, I need to just give a little bit of an anecdote. I, several years ago, went to my buddy's wedding, and being that I was irresponsible and young and stupid, I didn't have a ride home from the, man, I'm blanking on the name, but it's the dinner before the wedding for just the people who are in the wedding. And this is going to be really embarrassing. It's going to pop in my head at 3 a.m. But I ended up hitching a ride back to my hotel with my buddy's father, and we ended up stopping at an Arby's, and we just were having a really good conversation, and something that he said was, it really stuck out to me, and I think that I really need to mention it here. Food is now a science. There's so many dollars out there being invested into what tastes good. Not necessarily what is good for you, what is going to nourish your body. Clearly, I'm having 3 different kinds of pizza today, so I'm not really nourishing myself, but I am definitely taking part in a flavor explosion. So that really, I think, speaks volumes to the Domino's. Now, what Domino's has done that the others has not is, it seems like the crust has been brushed with a garlic butter sauce that makes the outer crust really, really tasty. It's got additional flavor. It also has additional seasoning on it. The extra toppings are nice. One of the other interesting things versus the other two that Domino's has done is it's got a sweet tomato sauce. I think that I prefer the more savory sauces of the other two over this, but overall, Domino's does have a very tasty slice of pizza. Really tasty. So in just terms of flavor, even though I prefer the more savory sauce, Domino's definitely has jumped ahead. It's a lot saltier, which again is talking about what is it that really brings out taste and what really makes us silly humans like the taste of something. And for me, this is really doing it based on my preferences of, yes, I like salt. So on the toppings, again, we have a lot more from Domino's, or at least more up at the top. It might be part of the baking process for the others that the toppings are more inside and incorporated with the cheese, versus this is just all on top. So visually, I think that, again, they each bring something to the table. Perhaps the Domino's is slightly less visually appealing, even though you do really see those toppings very clearly and they just really jump out at you. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to try, all three kinds. If I was to make one more comment about the Domino's, the crust feels a little bit less substantial, less like it's going to keep you full than the other two, where again, the Bertucci's is really more like a bread, which I have to imagine is more real, you know, if we're talking in terms of how it initially was created. With the local place, again, very good, not tremendously flavorful, it just tastes like pizza crust. It doesn't have a strong taste. I do like the crispness of it. And then again, Domino's is just, you're getting flavor, and that's what you're paying for, and that's what you're getting. Although again, just my initial reactions based on this, the other two do seem like they will feel more filling and more like a full meal when you try them. So I guess what I would say here is take away from this what you will. Maybe try out a few different kinds for yourself to really understand what it is that you like, and based on what you're feeling at that time, go for it. I don't think that there's anything really wrong with any of them. Again, they each bring something to the table. I think that it would be really difficult for me to make a decision as to what was the winner. Again, they all are really quite good, but they each bring something different to the table. Hey guys, I just figured I would leave you with a couple parting thoughts after the pizza extravaganza. So first off, I just really want to reiterate that I don't dislike Bertucci's. What was missing from the slice for me was really, I think, that char that you get on the bottom of a brick oven slice. I think that that's really what you're looking for in order to get that real rustic taste. I think it really brings out a lot of good flavors when you have it, and this particular slice didn't have it. So maybe it was on me. I didn't ask for it any particular way. Maybe I should ask for it a little bit more well done, or something like that. Maybe it was just an off slice. I'm not quite sure, but that's where that was going. And in terms of the Domino's slice, I just think I should state one more time, I feel like the pizza that we're getting now from Domino's is really based on a lot of research, a lot of science, as opposed to necessarily just someone in their kitchen flinging dough and seeing what works best for them. I think that this is really something that a lot of people spent a lot of time figuring out and trying to decide what is going to be the best tasting thing that we can produce. And I really think that they nailed it from a taste perspective because it is very good. I would like to see more of that savory sauce that I think that we used to get. Gosh, I don't even know how many years it's been since Domino's tried to reinvent themselves. But I think that I'm missing that different sauce that we used to get. At any rate, pizza is wonderful, and as long as you are able to find something that you enjoy, I think that you're really going to have a great time. And I just think that it really is something that you should consider when you're trying to have pizza. What am I actually in the mood for? Do I want something that's a little bit saltier? Do I want something that's a little bit more savory? Do I want something that is going to make me feel really full and satisfied? Am I looking for something that's a little bit lighter fare? Take all of these things into consideration when you're going to make your pizza choice. So guys, thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have anything that you'd like to see from me, please let me know in the comments below. If you know anyone who you think would enjoy this video, please share it with them and get them in on the discussion as well. Thanks again, everyone, and I'll talk to you in a few days.